What is going on, YouTube? Northeast Ohio Sports Cards here for the weekly update. Sunday morning, week in review. Going to touch mostly on basketball today. Just a smidge of golf and a little bit of newsy stuff. So we'll see how fast this one goes. You never know. YouTube stuff down below. Like, comment, sub. You guys know the drill. And let's get into it. First up, GMA. Wait, what? GMA? Are you kidding me right now? Yes and no. I like to rag on GMA a lot. Most of the hobby does. However, I found this semi-interesting. The good old card porn Twitter/IG account shared this, and I found it quite intriguing. GMA is proposing new samples for new labels and are looking for our opinions. So check out the card porn Twitter account for this if you wish to vote, if you so care. But these aren't terrible. I don't know which one I like the best between 1, 2, or 3. I think 2, but maybe that's just because of, the black label thing. Or I'm sorry, 3 rather. I don't know. GMA could definitely use a label upgrade, and we laugh at them all the time. And people like to always kick the people that submit to them down on the Facebook groups and stuff, myself included. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to preach here when I have not done this very same thing. But depending on what happens with the PSA price increases that are maybe coming tomorrow, most likely, I mean, I think we're going to have to try to find another option for at least lower end stuff. I think by the time the price increases kick in tomorrow, assuming tomorrow, that we're going to need a viable place to send low end things. And I'm not saying that GMA is it, but depending on what PSA does, I think it's going to cause us to have to reevaluate a lot of situations. Unless you're willing to wait the 12 months for a bulk order or whatever and pay the $12 per card and hope and pray that nothing crazy happens. But that's just a long time to tie up cards and money for. Now, if you submit one in every month and then next year at this time you have one coming back, but who knows what the card market looks like. Guys you're sending in could be completely worthless by then. But on the flip side, someone you send in could go way up. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm sure there'll be a video once the PSA price increases come out to discuss, and we'll break it all down like we normally do. But I just found this interesting. Not bad designs. I will tell you this. I like all 3 of these better than whatever the hell CSG is doing. HGA definitely wins the label war, in my opinion. Theirs definitely looks the best, I think, in most cases. But we will see how things come out. Here's some photoshopped versions with the labels on cards. Once again, I think the all black one actually looks kind of cool on some stuff. I don't know. So let me know if one of those pops off to you in the old comment section down below. And you can once again check out the card porn Twitter/IG if you are not already following him. Regarding HGA, I have heard that they continue to expand their weekly intake each week, but I have seen a lot of people expressing frustration with I've been trying to send them cards for 3 weeks now. Whatever the case might be, what's the point? If I'm waiting 3 weeks to get them into you guys versus just sending them off and waiting for them to be graded. So I understand what they're doing, and it's good if you could get your cards in, but I think it's causing a lot of frustrations for the people that are not getting orders in. So we'll see how that continues to go. Keep an eye on that. I may end up doing, depending on how next week goes, maybe digging deep and kind of look at the sales of HGA slabs already, just to kind of see where they're sitting. I know a lot of them have been doing fairly decently in regards to quote unquote comps. So maybe we'll kind of take a little bit of a deeper dive, look at those and compare prices to, what a PSA 10 and a BGS 9.5 is doing on some stuff. So, all right, up first on the old charts, once again in Market Movers, links down below in the description. People always ask, and I always say in the video, links are down there. Go find them. Discount code and everything. Tiger Woods. Oh, this good old Upper Deck PSA 10 that we've talked about before on the channel. Got a little pumped and dumped a little while ago. Came back down, re-leveled out at about $750. Has been there for a while. Guy gets in a car wreck. I don't know if people were just assuming that he was dead or what, but it was actually trending down a little bit. It was down to 730. Within a day, it spiked up to 1,400 and then went right back down to, it's sitting at about 1,000 right now, and trending back downwards again. So once again, I'm guessing people saw the accident news, suspect that he was dying or dead, bought up a bunch of stuff, and then quickly realized that he probably never golf again, but he is very much still alive. And then that sucked the wind right out of those sails. Very interesting market movements. This right here is a microcosm of how, if you can, and not that you could predict an accident, but I just mean in general, if you could predict a news event, or you think a news event is going to happen around a player. So let's take this more on the court, on the field. For example, like a contract extension. See Fernando Tatis, Patrick Mahomes last year. A trade or a free agency swap. I feel like it's a pretty safe bet that there's going to be X percentage increased just based solely off that news, and you could just sell it then. So spin this forward to like the NFL off season. Start trying to figure out what teams are looking to make big free agent splashes. Like who's going to be chasing the next trade bait or free agent wide receiver to add to their team that's going to spike the receivers' prices and the quarterbacks' prices. Or during NBA free agency, we saw it last year. The Hawks made a bunch of moves. Trae Young prices went through the roof. Chris Paul goes to the Suns. Booker and Ayton prices through the roof. So predicting the news is just as important as predicting on play, or on court rather, or on field performance for a lot of this stuff, at least for quick flips. So, but this just shows the power of Tiger Woods was in a car accident. Oh my God. The internet runs wild, and then immediately pulls back again once the news has kind of flushed itself out. But there was a window there that you could have made a nice flip, but I'd be very wary of eBay returns on some of that stuff. So next, let's move into basketball. Not much. Just to quickly touch on baseball and football. Baseball seems like the calm before the storm. Most of the big guys, Tatis, Acuna, Soto, Bellinger, etc., are kind of flat this week to down a couple percentage points. But a lot of those guys have already had multiple spikes in this lead up since Christmas to now. I assume that'll probably settle down a little bit. And then once spring training fires up real quick here, I'll be curious to see, does the baseball market heat up again? Football, basically the same way. Guys are slowly trending down to flattening out. A few guys are creeping up a little bit, but not much. It's kind of like the doldrums of the NFL market right now, which, as I talked about a while ago, if you're willing to tie the money up and sit on it for a while, you should really be looking to make some NFL plays right now on some guys. Basketball wise, this is just looking at price movements by cards. The top of the chart, fairly flat for the most part. We're going to talk about some individual players, but Trae and Luka continue to trend very slightly down. We'll talk about John Zion specifically. But this is listed by most number of sales. Trae, Luka, Zion, MPJ's on the list. John Morant's on the list. No surprises there based off the names. But the modern market still continues to be kind of flat in most cases. We are going to talk about some guys going up, but in general, the modern market is still not yet ablaze, if you will. But it is beginning to show signs of life. On the flip side, the Legends and GOAT market seems to be slowing down a little bit. LeBron Topps Chrome has pulled back slightly. The PSA 10, and I'm kind of using this as a macro level look at that entire market. But we've seen it. Jordan PSA 10s, 9s, etc. The last selling prices are a little bit less than what the previous highs were. So they've dropped down a little bit. Same with LeBron. This was a 40K card. Last sale was 34K. The PSA 9s were getting close to 10K. This is down to like 8.5 now. So we've had that big run up the last few months, hit new all-time highs, and now I think we're seeing that slight pullback and then a re-level off at these new levels, and then it's probably going to hang there until something shakes it up a little bit. Um, and you're starting to see that trickle down to the rest of the legends and all-time greats, etc. I think the modern market's going to continue to stay relatively flat, other than like breakout performances and stuff for the next couple weeks, maybe week, maybe two. But we're quickly approaching NBA trade deadline in mid to late March, and I think that's when I've been saying it for a while now. I think that's going to be the catalyst for the NBA modern market to really heat back up again. Also, I think at around that same time, we don't have a firm date on Prism, but when the new Prism set releases, I think once again that'll help jumpstart the modern NBA market as well. Um, and I think all that stuff should kind of hit at around the same time. Prism's supposed to be March 3rd, but that's like 3 days from now, and I don't think that's going to happen due to all the different weather delays plus COVID and everything else going on. So a few cards going up. Tatum Optic PSA 10 has crept up about 20% on the week. His Prism's actually come down a little bit and then kind of picked back up again. I think this was just the fact that Tatum stuff got too cheap. Like, just players like this have a certain floor that when they get to it, it's like, we're not letting you get that low. It's time to buy him back up again. And I think that happened with Tatum. The Celtics have been really struggling lately, but all it takes is for them to make a trade, which Danny Ainge does not like to do in season trades. But who knows? If they make a deal for basically anyone with a pulse, I think it'll spike both Tatum and Brown's cards. So we'll see what ends up happening with them. But I think this is just a normal rebound of his stuff getting a little too cheap. This card was on my radar. I had quite a few watch listed on eBay, but the prices kind of shot back up on them before I could make a move. So I really like, as anyone that watches the channel knows, I really like Optic as a set, especially base cards and color. Not so much on 17, 18. Their color stuff's not that great. But on the 18, 19, and 19, 20, I really like Optic color. Next up, MPJ. We talked about him actually on the video that I did of guys going down the most. In fact, two guys that were going down the most earlier this week are actually on the rise the second half of the week. And that's because both guys actually, I recorded that video Wednesday night before the game started. And that night, both SGA really went off. He set a new career high. And MPJ also played pretty well. MPJ on the week is up only 10%, but a pretty decent little bounce, all things considered, with what's been going on with the modern market. Anyone spiking up at all kind of tops the charts. So not much there, but it does seem to be that he's maybe coming back the other direction in regards to pricing. I really liked him at discounted prices. I'll continue to keep an eye on him to see if he drops back down again. And then, well, before we talk about Embiid, let's jump to SGA since we mentioned him already. SGA on the week was probably one of the biggest winners. He's up 20%, up to 252. And he, at one point in time, he was down all the way down to 189, 190. And he was actually lower than that if you go back a little bit further. But over the last week, he's up 20% for $40 a card, or up basically $40 to 250. He's one, I mentioned him on that video. I really like SGA. I don't know that now's the time to buy SGA. If his prices came back down again, I'd be intrigued. My thought process here is the Thunder are not making the playoffs. They're going to be frisky. He's going to continue to have big games every once in a while to kind of like resuscitate his prices. But during the NBA playoffs is where I want to target guys like this, where the attention shifts off of those guys and the money flows to the guys playing in the playoffs. And these guys typically see price reductions. That's when I want to target someone like this, because I like the idea of buying SGA at lower prices in the spring and early summer, and then just sitting on them until Halloween when the NBA season comes back. Because he's one of the guys that'll get the trendy buzz and prices will increase as we move throughout the off season. So, but I don't know that I want to tie money up into him now. I know he's not getting a playoff spike, so I'm not too concerned about like missing the boat on him. I feel like the prices will come back to sub 200 at some point in time. Embiid, who we mentioned just very quickly, he's also up about 10 to 15%, up $100. Very low pop count card, only 1,000 of these in PSA 10. He continues to look like one of the front runners for MVP status. I'm recording this on Saturday night. They play the Cavs, so I'll get a nice close look at him, most likely dominating us. But I really like Embiid's stuff. If he stays healthy, he will be a possible MVP candidate. We talked about him actually in the NBA market video that I did earlier this week as well. He is one that I would not hesitate to sell his stuff if I made really good profit on it. His cards were like 300, 350 in a PSA 10 before the season started. If you bought some of his stuff and it's up to almost $1,000 now, I would, over $900 and you're into it for like 350, 4, even 500. You can almost double up your money on a guy that's extremely injury prone. I wouldn't hate you for doing it. I really like the school of thought. Card Talk Pod talks about this all the time. You never go broke taking a profit. And if you could double your money on Embiid, I get you might be leaving money on the table. If they would, make the Eastern Conference Finals or even the NBA Finals, this could be a $1,500 to $1,500 card, maybe $1,750 if the market goes crazy, $2,000. Who knows? Guys have big games in the playoffs, prices go nuts. But I wouldn't be sad about making 100% profit on something and then taking that money and moving it into something else. I would not hate you for that. You might look back and kick yourself, but you might look back in a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks from now or a month, and he's a little dinged up and not playing or whatever, and his prices come back to earth. Then every once in a while you're gonna get stuff wrong, you're gonna get stuff right, but as long as you make a profit on the play, that's the key one. Or once again, the classic Neo adage: buy multiples. So if you had 2 of these, you could sell one and then you're basically free rolling the second one. I absolutely love doing this on cards that I really like. So if you were big into Embiid and you bought 2 or 3, say you bought 3 of them in the preseason for 300, you can apply this logic to anybody. And now the card's tripled in value throughout the season. You sell off one of them and you've paid for the other 2. So now you're into the other 2 cards for 0 cost basis. So if they shoot way up, cool. If they drop way down because the player got hurt or whatever, yeah, you lost the opportunity cost of selling the card, but at a certain price value. But at least you're not like DOA, where if you held all 3 for long term and got greedy with it, you could sell one now, roll the other 2. Maybe it goes up another $500 in another month. You could sell the second one, and then you still got the third, and now you're actually up money. Or you could sell 2 now, come out with the 3 paid for, plus profits, plus you still have one that you can really free roll. I love doing stuff like that. If you really believe in the card, buy more than one of them, especially on like base stuff. We're not talking about like, a Luka Silver Prism or a Luka Select die cut numbered to 99 or something crazy like that. On base cards, buy multiples, and then it really makes your decision tree easier. Because knowing when to sell is the trickiest part. That's the hardest thing to make up your mind on in this hobby, is in any hobby or any collectible thing like this. Knowing when to sell is extremely difficult because you always kick yourself in hindsight. So buy multiples and then you can free roll one, and then it is what it is. A couple more cards left on the list. Take a look at Kyrie Irving. We talked about him too in a video about a week or so ago of star players that I felt were extremely undervalued. And apparently the market agrees with me. He's up 26% in the last week, from 1,000 to basically, or about 1,100 to 1,400. And this makes total sense. His card prices were really flat the last month or so, and the Nets look like the favorites for the NBA Finals to make it, at least. I think it's them and the Sixers in the East, with maybe the Bucks if they get their stuff together. But one of those 3 teams is coming out of it in the Eastern Conference, most likely. And the Nets look just ridiculously good, especially when all 3 of those guys are on the court. I will tell you right now, if you bought into Kyrie for $1,000 or $1,100 and he keeps trending up, I would take the money and run if you could like double your money up. Because once again, extremely injury prone and prone to just deciding to walk the earth at any particular moment of the day. Let's end on Morant and Zion. We tend to do this a lot, whether their prices shifted a lot or not. I kind of like to just check in with them because it kind of gives me a general idea how the overall modern market is going. Zion is pulled pretty far back away from Ja. And this is kind of a combo effect of Zion slightly creeping up and Ja slightly creeping down. At one point in time, not long ago, these two lines actually crisscrossed, and Ja had jumped Zion for a really hot minute there. Zion, while prices aren't exploding, he continues to creep up about 5 or 10% a week. We could see right now he's back to $700. He was down I think under 600 at one point in time. But he just continues to creep up. Actually, I think he was down to like 500. Um, each week, just slowly. He's playing extremely well. And once again, I'm not big on Zion from a long term hold, but I absolutely love him for short term flips. Get in, get out, maybe get back in again later if his prices drop, sell him again, whatever. I just don't want to be holding Zion for years and years on end. He has to get in, get out, use that money to buy something else. But yeah, his stuff keeps creeping up. He's getting tons of media buzz. Everyone's been talking about how great he is. And I could see his prices continuing to creep. Does he get back to the magic $1,000 number where he was before? We'll see. A lot of that'll probably end up depending on the playoffs. He's going to be in the All-Star game, and there's rumors swirling that he may be in the dunk contest. So who knows what's going to happen with his stuff in the next couple weeks. But um, I think if you're willing to take the risk on the short term and when I say short term, I'm talking like between now and the NBA playoffs starting. I think there's definitely room in Zion to buy now, hold, and then flip again in a month or two. So that's going to do it for this week. Looking ahead a little bit, I have a PSA reveal video coming. I have a PSA submission preview video coming. I would like to dig into HGA sales and see how they're doing. So that's probably coming. And beyond that, I don't know. But those are probably going to be, and I'm not sure the order yet, the next few things that you see out of me. I made it through the entire, kind of challenged myself in February. And this is, we're just kind of getting into like random channel update stuff now. I kind of challenged myself in the month of February to post every single day, and I completed that task. Today, February 28th, will complete the month of February with me posting at least one video every single day. And in some cases, I posted more than one because news broke or something happened that I felt didn't want to wait till the next morning for a video. So I do not know that I will continue that trend in March. It's a lot of work getting a video out every single day, but I just kind of wanted to see what would happen if I did it. And the channel did have its best month ever. Now we had a lot of stuff going on. I brought it into some other topics with the non-sports trading card stuff. I've been touching on comic books a little bit lately, and also had an appearance on the Sports Card Investor channel, which also helped boost the numbers, if you will. But we definitely had the best month ever in the channel. So thanks to you guys. I'll probably touch on that again at the beginning of a video coming soon. But yeah, that's probably the next 3-ish videos, plus once again, whatever pops up. Anything that I pre-record, I believe I'm going to continue to post at around that 9 or 10 a.m. morning mark during the week, and then kind of keep the afternoons open that if something happens throughout the day, I'll just pop out a quick video. And I would like to continue to pop on and do an occasional live stream here and there, Q&A, kind of like we did last week. Those will probably be super spontaneous. The live streams, unless I'm like ripping a box of something, are going to be very much of me looking at the night and saying, hey, I have an hour. I can pop on for 45 minutes and knock this out, and maybe give like a 10 or 15-minute notice on that. So that's just kind of the way the schedule works these days. But anyway, that's all I got for you guys. Like, comment, sub, all the YouTube stuff. Catch you guys most likely Monday morning. Peace.